In the year 2147, humanity had finally breached the stars. The United Earth Coalition sent out exploratory missions to chart new worlds and establish colonies beyond their home planet. Among these brave souls was Lieutenant Eric Vane, a seasoned soldier known for his quick thinking and unshakable resolve. He wasn't just another face in the military ranks. He carried scars from battles that tested both his courage and morality. Serving alongside him was Commander Leora Hayes, an astute strategist with sharp wit and an even sharper tongue. Together, they led Team Solace, a small but formidable unit tasked with scouting alien territories. Their latest mission brought them to Zapiria, 7, a lush jungle planet teeming with strange flora and fauna. Towering trees stretched into skies painted orange by two suns, while rivers of bioluminescent water snaked through dense undergrowth. It was beautiful yet dangerous, as every step revealed hidden threats. Venomous plants, carnivorous insects the size of dogs, and whispers of something far more sinister lurking deeper within the wilderness. The team's objective seemed straightforward: gather samples, map key locations, and return safely. But it quickly became clear that Zapiria, 7 held secrets far older than humanity itself. As they ventured farther into the heart of the jungle, their scanners picked up faint signals emanating from beneath the ground. These weren't natural occurrences. They were deliberate transmissions, ancient and rhythmic like a heartbeat pulsing through stone. Eric felt uneasy. His instincts screamed at him to turn back, but duty bound him forward. Leora tried to lighten the mood, joking about how this place would make for one hell of a vacation brochure if not for all the bitey things. Still, even her humor couldn't mask the tension tightening among the group. They pressed on, hacking through vines thick as cables and dodging creatures that darted between shadows. Then came the moment that changed everything. A sudden tremor shook the earth beneath their feet, sending everyone sprawling onto damp moss. From the depths below rose a cacophony of clicks, chirps, and guttural growls, the sound of awakening predators. Before anyone could react, massive clawed limbs burst from the soil, dragging screaming soldiers into darkness. Panic erupted as Team Solace scrambled to regroup, firing wildly at the monstrous shapes emerging from the ground. Amidst the chaos, Eric spotted movement near a cluster of glowing mushrooms, a child, no older than 10, cowering amidst the roots. An alien child, its translucent skin shimmering faintly under the dim light. Without hesitation, Eric charged toward it, bullets whizzing past his head as he fought off swarms of insectoid horrors guarding the young creature. His rifle ran dry mid-sprint, forcing him to rely on brute strength alone. With a roar, he tackled one beast, slamming its head repeatedly against a rock until it went limp. Leora shouted orders over comms, trying to organize what remained of their scattered forces. "Vane, get back here. That's an order." But Eric ignored her, scooping up the terrified child and sprinting back toward friendly lines. Every step felt heavier than the last, exhaustion biting at his muscles as adrenaline surged through his veins. Behind him, the jungle came alive with fury, snapping jaws and slashing claws closing in fast. Finally reaching safety, Eric collapsed behind a makeshift barricade, clutching the child tightly against his chest. Breathing heavily, he looked down at the wide-eyed being staring up at him. Its eyes glowed faintly green, reflecting gratitude, or perhaps curiosity. Whatever it was, Eric knew he'd done the right thing. Even so, saving this child came at great cost. Half of Team Solace lay dead or missing, swallowed whole by the planet's unforgiving embrace. As silence fell over the battlefield, broken only by distant screeches fading into the jungle, Eric exchanged glances with Leora. She shook her head disapprovingly but said nothing. There was no time for lectures now. Instead, she knelt beside him, examining the trembling child nestled safely in his arms. "What have you gotten us into this time?" she muttered under her breath, though there was no real anger in her voice, just weary resignation mixed with reluctant admiration. And then, without warning, the air shimmered around them. A low hum filled the clearing, growing louder until it vibrated through bone and sinew alike. Slowly, impossibly, a figure materialized before them, a towering presence draped in iridescent scales that shifted colors like liquid metal. This was no ordinary alien. It exuded authority, power radiating outward in waves that made the hairs on Eric's neck stand on end. The being spoke, its voice resonating deep within their minds rather than their ears. "You bravely saved my child, human. Your reward awaits. Have fun. Before anyone could respond, reality itself seemed to warp and twist, pulling them away from Zapiria, 7 and into realms unknown. When consciousness returned, Eric found himself sprawled on soft ground, not dirt or moss, but something warm and pliable, almost alive. Above him stretched a vast chamber illuminated by floating orbs of light, casting shifting patterns across walls lined with intricate carvings. The air smelled sweet, tinged with hints of honey and ozone. Beside him, Leora stirred groggily, muttering curses under her breath as she took stock of their surroundings. "Where are we?" she managed, rubbing her temples. Her usual sharpness dulled by confusion. "I don't know," Eric admitted, pushing himself upright. "But I think we're guests of honor." He gestured toward the center of the room, where the alien queen stood, or rather, loomed. Up close, she was even more imposing, her serpentine form coiled elegantly atop a dais adorned with crystalline structures that refracted light into dazzling rainbows. Around her moved smaller versions of herself, attendants perhaps, tending to tasks with precision and grace. Most striking, however, was the child cradled protectively in her coils, the same one Eric had risked life and limb to save. The queen inclined her massive head, acknowledging their presence. "Welcome, humans. You have earned our gratitude, and thus, you shall receive your due." Her words echoed inside their skulls, each syllable heavy with meaning. Yet despite the awe-inspiring display, Eric couldn't shake the feeling of unease prickling at the edges of his mind. Gratitude from being so vastly different could mean anything, and given humanity's track record with first contact scenarios, optimism rarely paid off. Leora stepped forward cautiously, ever the diplomat when diplomacy still held a chance. "We appreciate your hospitality," she began diplomatically, "but might we ask what exactly constitutes this reward?" The queen chuckled, a sound akin to rolling thunder softened by silk. "Patience, little strategist. All will be revealed in due course. For now, relax. Enjoy yourselves. My children will ensure your needs are met." With that cryptic assurance, several of the smaller aliens approached, offering trays laden with fruits unlike any Eric or Leora had seen before. Some glowed softly, others pulsed faintly, emitting scents ranging from floral to spicy. Hunger outweighed caution temporarily, prompting Eric to sample one resembling a cross between a peach and a jellyfish. To his surprise, it tasted divine, bursting with flavors that danced across his palate in ways food never had before. Meanwhile, Leora observed everything with keen eyes, noting how the queen watched them intently, almost predatorily. Despite appearances, this wasn't merely a gesture of goodwill, it was part spectacle, part experiment. And they were the unwitting subjects. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time flowed strangely here, bending to rhythms alien and incomprehensible. During this period, Eric and Leora experienced sensations bordering on euphoria. Music played continuously, notes drifting through the air like fragrant smoke, coaxing laughter and smiles even from stoic Leora. They bathed in pools filled with liquid warmth that soothed sore muscles and cleared foggy thoughts. Attendants massaged their bodies using oils infused with essences potent enough to blur the line between pleasure and pain. Yet beneath the indulgence lurked questions unanswered, truths obscured by layers of opulence. Why had the queen brought them here? What did she truly want? And most importantly, why did accepting her generosity feel increasingly like walking willingly into a trap? Despite such concerns, neither resisted the allure of respite after weeks of relentless danger. Perhaps tomorrow clarity would come. Or perhaps tomorrow wouldn't exist at all. As dawn broke, though whether it was true dawn or merely simulated remained unclear, Eric woke to find himself alone. The chamber lay silent except for the gentle hum of those floating orbs overhead. Rising slowly, he scanned the area, searching for signs of Leora or the queen. Instead, he discovered a narrow passageway leading away from the main hall, carved directly into the living wall itself. Intrigued, he decided to investigate, reasoning that staying put offered little chance of uncovering answers. The corridor twisted and turned unpredictably, walls pulsating faintly with internal light sources. Along the way, murals depicted scenes of grandeur and conquest, showcasing the queen's lineage stretching back eons. Each fresco told stories of battles won, civilizations subdued, and sacrifices made, all rendered in exquisite detail that left Eric awestruck despite himself. Eventually, the path opened into another chamber, smaller but equally ornate. Here, suspended midair via unseen forces, floated artifacts encased in translucent fields, weapons forged from materials unknown, devices humming gently as if awaiting activation, relics whose purposes eluded comprehension entirely. At the center stood a pedestal bearing a single object, a sphere roughly the size of a human head, swirling with colors reminiscent of galaxies colliding. Compelled by some instinct he couldn't explain, Eric reached out tentatively, fingers brushing against the barrier surrounding the sphere. Instantly, visions flooded his mind. Vast armies marching across barren landscapes, cities crumbling under relentless assaults, cries of anguish echoing endlessly. Then, abruptly, the images shifted, showing moments of peace interspersed with joyous celebrations, unity born from shared struggle. Confusion reigned supreme as emotions clashed violently within him, fear warring with hope, despair battling resilience. Suddenly, a voice intruded upon his reverie. "I see you found our history vault." Spinning around, Eric saw Leora standing at the entrance, arms crossed casually despite the gravity of their situation. "How long have you been watching?" he demanded, heart pounding wildly. She shrugged nonchalantly. "Long enough to realize we've stumbled onto something bigger than either of us anticipated. This isn't just about rewarding bravery anymore, it's about legacy. About ensuring survival through whatever means necessary." Her words hung heavy in the air, underscoring the enormity of implications lurking behind every interaction thus far. If the Queen intended to use them somehow, to manipulate events unfolding light years away, then escaping unscathed might prove impossible. Yet abandoning efforts to understand motivations driving such actions felt equally untenable. Together, they resolved silently to probe further, seeking truths buried beneath layers of splendor seductive enough to ensnare even wary minds. Little did they know, challenges awaiting promised tests far exceeding physical endurance alone. Guided partly by intuition and partly by necessity, Eric and Leora chose to confront the Queen directly. They retraced their steps back to the Grand Chamber, determination etched into their faces. Upon arrival, they found her precisely where they'd left her, basking imperiously atop her crystalline throne. Her gaze locked onto them instantly, gleaming with an intelligence that transcended mere curiosity. "You seek answers," the Queen intoned, her voice resonant and commanding. "Ask, and I shall decide which truths you are worthy of knowing." Leora stepped forward, her diplomatic facade masking the storm brewing within. "Why bring us here? What do you gain from lavishing us with luxuries and exposing us to your history?" The Queen's response was measured, each word dripping with centuries of wisdom. "Your kind possesses qualities rare among species, resilience coupled with adaptability. By understanding you, I safeguard my lineage against future uncertainties." Eric interjected, his tone firm but respectful. "Understanding doesn't require manipulation. We aren't pawns in your game." A ripple of amusement passed over the Queen's features. "Manipulation implies malice. Human. Consider this an investment. In exchange for insights gleaned, I offer knowledge and alliances beneficial to both our peoples." This revelation sparked a flurry of emotions within them. On one hand, the prospect of mutual growth excited possibilities previously unimaginable. On the other, trusting an entity whose motives remained veiled posed risks too significant to ignore. Determined to leverage this opportunity, Leora proposed a compromise. "Share openly, and we reciprocate. Mutual trust fosters stronger bonds than coercion ever could." The Queen considered this, her luminous eyes narrowing slightly. After a pause, she nodded. "Very well. Begin by proving your sincerity. Demonstrate loyalty beyond fleeting gratitude." Thus began a series of trials designed not only to test their capabilities but also to gauge their integrity. Tasks ranged from solving complex puzzles embedded within holographic simulations to navigating treacherous terrains mirroring Zapiria 7's deadliest regions. Throughout these challenges, camaraderie between Eric and Leora deepened, forged anew in fires hotter than any faced before. Each success brought glimpses of genuine connection forming between them and the Queen's court. Small gestures, a shared meal, laughter during lighter moments, quiet reflections post-trial, began chipping away barriers erected initially out of fear and mistrust. Yet underlying tensions persisted, reminders constant that stakes involved extended far beyond personal fates. As days blurred into weeks, transformations occurred subtly yet profoundly. Eric learned patience, tempering impulsiveness with strategic foresight honed through observation. Leora discovered empathy, balancing pragmatism with compassion inspired by witnessing vulnerabilities masked by power. Together, they navigated complexities intertwining destiny with choice, realizing gradually that paths chosen often dictated outcomes unforeseen. Through it all, the looming question persisted. Could harmony truly emerge from discord orchestrated deliberately? Or would shadows cast by intentions misunderstood inevitably darken bridges painstakingly built? Only time would tell, ticking inexorably forward like sands slipping through cosmic hourglasses. One evening, amidst preparations for yet another trial, Eric and Leora sat together in a secluded alcove overlooking a bioluminescent garden. The air buzzed softly with the hum of unseen creatures flitting between glowing blossoms. Exhaustion lined their faces, but a sense of tentative peace had settled over them, a fragile truce born from shared struggles and hard-won victories. "Do you ever wonder what happens next?" Eric asked quietly, breaking the comfortable silence that had enveloped them. His gaze lingered on the radiant flora, each bloom pulsing with its own rhythm, as if breathing in sync with the universe itself. "All the time," Leora replied, leaning back against the cool stone wall. She toyed absently with a strand of hair, her usual brisk demeanor softened by weariness. "Every day feels like stepping further into the unknown. Like we're building something, but I can't quite see the blueprint." Eric chuckled dryly. "Blueprints are overrated anyway. Sometimes you just have to trust the process, even when it scares the hell out of you." Leora tilted her head, studying him with a mix of amusement and admiration. "Since when did you become so philosophical? Last week you were ready to punch the queen in her glittering face." "Hey, credit where it's due," he shot back, grinning despite himself. "Getting punched is better than getting eaten alive by bug monsters. Progress, right?" They both laughed, the sound carrying lightly across the garden. For a moment, the weight of their circumstances lifted, replaced by camaraderie forged in the crucible of adversity. It struck Eric then how much they had grown, not just individually, but together. Where once they might have clashed over strategies or priorities, now there existed an unspoken understanding, a partnership strengthened by mutual respect and reliance. "But seriously," Leora continued after their laughter subsided, "what do you think she wants from us? Beyond the trials and the bonding exercises, I mean, is this really about forging alliances, or is there something else at play?" Eric frowned thoughtfully. "Maybe both. Maybe neither. Honestly, I stopped trying to second-guess her motives days ago. All we can do is take things one step at a time and hope we don't screw up royally along the way." "Optimistic as always," Leora teased, nudging him playfully with her elbow. But her expression sobered quickly. "Still, I can't shake the feeling that whatever comes next will change everything. For us, for humanity, maybe even for her people too." "Yeah," Eric agreed somberly. "Big changes tend to sneak up on you when you least expect them." Their conversation drifted naturally toward lighter topics. Memories of Earth, humorous mishaps during training exercises, dreams deferred indefinitely thanks to their current predicament. Each story wove threads of connection tighter, binding them closer not just as comrades in arms but as friends navigating uncharted waters side by side. Eventually, the garden grew quieter, the luminescent blooms dimming slightly as if responding to the lateness of the hour. Reluctantly, they rose to rejoin the others, knowing rest would be fleeting before tomorrow's inevitable challenges resumed. As they walked back through winding corridors aglow with ethereal light, neither spoke, content simply to share the journey. Whatever awaited them ahead, they faced it united, not merely by circumstance, but by choice. And perhaps, in the grand tapestry of existence, that choice mattered most of all. Back in the grand chamber, the queen awaited them, her presence commanding yet oddly serene. Around her, smaller aliens bustled about, preparing for some grand event hinted at earlier but never fully explained. Tension crackled palpably in the air, mingling with anticipation that bordered on exhilaration. "We approach a pivotal juncture," the queen announced, addressing Eric and Leora directly. Her voice resonated deeply, laced with gravitas. Tonight marks culmination of trials undertaken thus far. Success ensures continuation along chosen path. Failure. She paused dramatically, letting implication hang heavy. Failure alters destinies irreversibly. Eric swallowed hard, exchanging nervous glances with Leora. Despite numerous hurdles overcome already, uncertainty loomed large, casting long shadows over confidence gained painstakingly. Yet determination burned fiercely within them, fueled by resolve tempered through adversity endured collectively. "Understood," Leora responded firmly, squaring shoulders defiantly. "Lead us to final challenge, Your Majesty. We stand ready." Nodding approvingly, the Queen gestured gracefully, summoning attendants who ushered them ceremoniously toward adjacent arena-like structure. Inside, elaborate constructs dominated space, obstacles designed testing limits physically, mentally, emotionally. Challenges promised pushing boundaries far beyond anything encountered previously. Without hesitation, Eric and Leora plunged headlong into fray, confronting dangers manifesting unpredictably. Jagged terrain shifted suddenly beneath feet, forcing agility honed razor-sharp. Illusions crafted meticulously assailed senses relentlessly, demanding clarity amidst chaos swirling violently. Emotional triggers probed vulnerabilities hidden deepest recesses psyche, challenging fortitude unyieldingly. Throughout ordeal unfolding rapidly, teamwork proved paramount. Communication flowed seamlessly, strategies adapted dynamically based situational demands evolving constantly. Trust cemented irrevocably guided actions synchronized perfectly, amplifying effectiveness exponentially. Yet pinnacle confrontation emerged unexpectedly, a colossal construct resembling amalgamation fears manifested tangibly. Towering menacingly, entity exuded aura malevolence pure, intent destruction absolute unmistakable. Facing adversary seemingly insurmountable, doubt crept insidiously threatening undermine resolve steadfast maintained till now. Drawing inspiration reservoirs inner strength tapped scarcely before, Eric rallied courage flagging momentarily. "Remember why we're here," he shouted fervently, rallying spirit wavering precariously. "For survival, yes, but also hope forging brighter futures possible." Echoing sentiments passionately, Leora joined rallying cry, bolstering morale sagging perilously. United purpose reignited flames determination flickering dimly, propelling duo forward relentlessly against odds stacked overwhelmingly unfavorable. Battle ensued ferociously, clashes titanic shaking foundations literally metaphorically. Strategies employed ingeniously exploited weaknesses perceived intuitively, turning tide gradually favorably albeit incrementally. Persistence paid dividends ultimately, culminating victory snatched jaws defeat gaping astonished disbelief. Exhausted yet triumphant, Eric and Leora collapsed spent heat panting heavily, adrenaline coursing veins finally subsiding leaving tremors aftermath intense exertion endured heroically. Above them, Queen observed proceedings intently, satisfaction evident countenance regal exuding approval unequivocal. "Well done, humans," she declared magnanimously, descending majestically bestowing accolades deservedly earned valiantly. "Proven yourselves worthy indeed. Reward promised awaits claiming rightfully yours henceforth." As the Queen's words echoed through the chamber, a profound sense of relief washed over Eric and Leora. The weight of their journey, the trials, the fears, the sacrifices, seemed to lift momentarily, replaced by an overwhelming gratitude for having survived not just physically but emotionally intact. They stood there amidst the glowing remnants of their final battle, battered yet unbroken, staring up at the towering alien queen who now regarded them with something akin to respect. But before either could utter a word, the queen extended one shimmering limb toward them, her scales rippling like liquid starlight. From within her coils emerged the child Eric had saved on Zapiria 7, its translucent skin glowing faintly as it stepped forward hesitantly. It approached Eric first, tilting its head curiously before reaching out a small hand. When their fingers touched, a surge of warmth spread through him, a silent thank you that transcended language or species. Then the child turned to Leora, offering the same gesture. Though initially hesitant, Leora knelt down slowly, allowing the tiny being to place its palm against hers. In that moment, she felt an inexplicable connection. Not just to this alien child but to all those who sought understanding across divides of culture, biology, and fear. Tears welled in her eyes, though whether from exhaustion, awe, or sheer emotional overload, she couldn't say. The Queen watched these exchanges with evident satisfaction. "Your actions have proven your worth," she said, her voice softer now, almost maternal. "And so, I offer you more than mere reward. I offer partnership, a bond between our peoples forged in courage and trust." With a wave of her massive tail, the chamber transformed once again. The walls shimmered and dissolved into visions. Images of Earth thriving alongside alien worlds, humans and extraterrestrials working together to build cities among the stars, sharing knowledge and resources for mutual prosperity. These weren't idle promises. They were glimpses of potential futures made possible by what Eric and Leora had achieved here today. Yet even as hope blossomed in their hearts, skepticism lingered. Could such harmony truly endure? Or would old prejudices and misunderstandings eventually tear apart what they'd worked so hard to create? Before either could voice their doubts, the Queen continued. "This alliance will not come without challenges. There will be those among my kind, and yours, who resist change, who cling to mistrust born of ignorance. But you too, you are pioneers. You carry within you the seeds of unity. Nurture them wisely." Her gaze shifted between Eric and Leora, piercing yet compassionate. "Your reward is freedom to choose your path. Return to your people and share what you've learned, or stay here, continue learning, and help guide this new era. The decision is yours alone." For a long moment, neither spoke. The choice weighed heavily on both of them, each silently weighing the pros and cons of leaving behind everything familiar versus embracing the unknown fully. Finally, Eric broke the silence. "We can't abandon our team," he said firmly, looking at Leora for confirmation. "They're counting on us. Humanity needs to hear about this, not just the dangers but the possibilities." Leora nodded in agreement. "But we also can't let this end here. If we leave, we'll need assurances that communication remains open, that this isn't just some fleeting goodwill gesture." The Queen inclined her head regally. "Consider it done. My envoys will accompany you back to your world, ensuring dialogue continues uninterrupted. And should you ever wish to return, know that you are always welcome." Relief flooded through them. This wasn't goodbye. It was a beginning. With renewed purpose, Eric and Leora prepared to depart, gathering whatever meager belongings they still possessed. As they stood ready to step through the shimmering portal that would transport them home, the Queen gave them one last piece of advice. "Remember," she said, her voice resonating deeply, "the greatest victories are not won through strength alone but through the courage to embrace empathy. Carry that lesson with you, and no obstacle will stand in your way." With those parting words, they stepped through the portal, leaving behind the alien realm and returning to the familiar sights and sounds of their ship. Their crewmates greeted them with cheers and disbelief, marveling at the tales of their adventure. News of the Queen's offer spread quickly, igniting debates and discussions throughout the United Earth Coalition. Months later, humanity took its first tentative steps toward forging alliances with other intelligent species, guided by the principles of cooperation and mutual respect championed by Eric and Leora. Challenges arose, as expected, but the foundation laid during their time on Zapiria, 7 proved strong enough to weather storms of doubt and conflict. As for Eric and Leora, they remained inseparable partners, leading missions designed to bridge gaps between worlds. Together, they became symbols of hope, not just for humanity but for countless others yearning for peace amid the vastness of space. And somewhere far away, in a grand chamber filled with crystalline light, a queen smiled knowingly, watching as the ripple effects of bravery and compassion spread outward, shaping destinies across galaxies yet unseen. Eric and Leora returned to Earth, bringing stories of hope and unity that inspired humanity. The alliance with the alien queen flourished, leading to shared knowledge and technological advancements. Their bravery became legendary, uniting species across the stars in unprecedented harmony. Eric and Leora continued their work as diplomats, fostering trust between humans and aliens. The child Eric saved grew up to become a bridge builder between their two peoples. Earth thrived alongside its interstellar neighbors, proving peace was possible even among differences. The Queen's envoys worked tirelessly with human leaders, ensuring cooperation remained strong. Eric and Leora found personal happiness too, their bond growing into lifelong friendship, and perhaps more. Generations later, their story was celebrated as the moment humanity stepped boldly into a brighter future. In the end, courage, empathy, and trust transformed not just their lives but the destiny of countless worlds.